Hello, roomies. Welcome back for another episode of the Engine Room podcast. I'm here with Pablo and BUGA. We're going to be giving a weekend recap. We'll be going around England, Italy, Germany, Spain, talking about the weekend fixtures. We'll give some updates for the live tables. And then, of course, we will take a look ahead to Arsenal Man City, which has everything weighing on it now. So we're excited to talk about that and more on the episode of the Engine Room podcast. Before I bring in the boys, like, subscribe, share, give a 5-star rating, all the things that you're supposed to do to support the channel. We love and appreciate it. With that out of the way, let's dive on in. Pablo, how we doing, sir?
Yeah, I'm doing very good. Is my connection all good?
It is now. I thought for a moment you were frozen. I was like, oh, great timing, John. But you're good now, Pablo.
I've been a little frozen in the introduction, and everyone's a little bit pixelated, but I am here. And I'm happy, and I've got some news because Malzol are Western League champions.
Let's go! I love it. I love it. Fantastic.
So we did it. Cornish footballing history. So yeah, I'm very well, and actually, we got some good topics today, so I'm excited.
Mm-hmm. Yes, indeed. And baby Booga, how we doing, brother?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm really good. I'm excited for what's to come. But I just want to mention, have you seen the new La Liga logo? It looks
trash. Dude. Oh, gross. It's so gross. Oh my. It looks like a Kings League design reject is what it looks like. It looks like somebody in a Kings League meeting stole one of the copies that they didn't like and sold it off to La Liga or something like that. It's a garbage, lazy,
it looks like they want to make La Liga more like gamer-y or esports-y, so they can appeal to a younger crowd.
Yeah, like this isn't Mortal Kombat. What are we doing?
Exactly.
Oh my goodness. Pablo's so disgusted by it, he hopped off. He's probably refreshing. I'm sure he had some connection problems there. Oh my gosh. Yeah, what do you think? Is there any redeeming qualities in that new logo?
Absolutely not. What I really like about La Liga was the circle with all the different colors, because I thought each color represented like some part of Spain or something like that, something crazy.
Yeah.
So
I I don't know. I'm a fan of it. The old one, I mean, not the new one. So I don't know. So Pablo has Mausel. I've got FC Cincinnati. Who's your side team? Who's your small club that you support, Booga?
I don't think there's an answer for that.
You're gonna have to find one, dude. Is there a club league in Peru, like a professional league?
Yeah, there is, of course, but it's like they're trash. I'm gonna get so much hate. I'm just gonna get so much. People here are like really, really invested in them, but
yeah,
I'm just gonna get so much hate because I don't really like anything. It's like once you watch European football, you kind of go down to this league because it's just so trash, so boring, so awful. So it's like football is not even football anymore at this point.
Wow.
But what team could it be? I mean, I really like Bournemouth because that's where I studied and I kind of affiliate with them, but it's not like they're that low of a team, right?
Yeah.
If there was to be a team, I could say my school year of my year group of school, I used to be their coach.
Okay, all right.
Where
is that? Give him a shout out.
Coach. Where is that? It's just called La Oma. It's like year groups of different schools that they play.
Nice. Sorry, if I just come into Booga where he was a coach.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, I was saying like Pablo's got Mausel, I've got FC Cincinnati. I was like, Booga, who's your underdog club?
I'm gonna find one for next week.
Okay, all right. So make sure everybody tune back in to hear Booga's underdog team of the week next week. But for now, let's jump into Premier League, shall we? So for me, I don't know if you guys caught it from the beginning, but I turned on Newcastle versus Spurs in the 22nd minute, and my jaw dropped, and I pointed at the screen like I saw an alien. I couldn't believe it. 5-0 in the first 22 minutes. Yeah, absolutely insane. Finished 6-1. Did you guys see any of this? You see it from the start? What was your take on this?
No, I wasn't watching it. I had the intention to, but I was doing a few other bits and bobs, and I had it on another tab, the score, and I kept getting up to make lunch, and then I went to the toilet, and then I came back and I got a bit of water, and the score kept going up. It was like a little glitch. And another time, so it was already 3-0 when that Twitter was erupting. I was like, oh my god. And that was on one of the things, I can't remember what I got up to do at the kitchen. And then I came back, must have been 3 minutes later. I had a missed call from my mate, and I called him, and he said, have you seen? I said, yeah, 3-0, yeah. And he goes, no. And I go back on the tab, and it was 5 by then, and it was like, what is going on? So it was unbelievable.
Yeah, it was wild. Booga, did you see any of it?
No, I was doing a run outside, and then like you message saying Newcastle versus Spurs, and I was like, what? And it was 5 at the moment. It was 5-0, and it was like also minute 20 something because it was, you texted just when you saw it, right?
I was in shock. I was in shock. I needed to verify that other people were seeing this on their screens as well, because I was in disbelief.
I checked that, and I watched it again. Later that day, and you know, like Barcelona against Bayern Munich, that game.
Yeah.
And they look.
No, I don't recall. Which one are you talking about?
Which of all the games?
Yeah, which one could it be?
They look completely lost. They look like a sinking ship, and that is exactly what I saw from Spurs from minute 1. Like you could see Spurs just conceding more and more and more. I don't know what Stellini was thinking. Perisic as a normal fullback, then a back two of Romero and Dyer. I never rated Dyer, but somehow he's still good for some people. Pedro Porro and right wing back playing right back, that could be a little more sense. But then his idea, I thought, was, okay, we're gonna have free holding players, Højbjerg, Sar, and Skip, and that's gonna make us suddenly be incredibly defensively. No, it was awful. Spurs didn't have any midfield, and Newcastle could just attack them directly.
Did you see the pass that Joe Willock gave Isak?
Oh, yes.
Unbelievable.
No? Dude, Luka Modric would have been jealous of that one. And I don't know if you saw, but in the celebration, Isak's eventually runs over to Joe Willock, and I'm reading his lips, and he said something along the lines of, "What was that? What was that? What the F was that?" And I'm like, that's the proper reaction to that kind of pass. Split 2 different lines outside of the football. Disgusting. Put it on the boot of Isaac. One touch, set it and forget it. You're not going to get a more beautiful pass than that. And for it to be part of this 6-1 route, it was absolutely incredible.
I loved as well to see it. The 5th goal, and Isaac was like, he was like, what? What's going on? What? Are you kidding me? 5-0? It's like, for me, every single of those players like enjoy it. And I don't know. I heard, the commentators here in South America, they were saying how Eddie Howe told the players, like, this game is a must win. We win this, we're in the Champions League 100% or something like that, which they basically are now. And you could just see how Newcastle played this game from minute 1. Like, okay, this is a must-win game. We must get a result in this one. And Spurs were like, I don't know. Spurs were awful.
Spurs were so bad.
Yeah, the pass from Schär as well in the second one.
Did anyone else have the feeling that Newcastle are going to give Spurs a bit of a hiding yesterday? Because I saw it on my fixtures and I thought, ooh. It felt to me like a bit of a day where we're going to get another Tottenham performance because, well, I mean, we've been over Spurs before. I've got nothing more to say to them, honestly. You have to feel sorry for them at this point, really. But it was an awful decision to sack Conte, who they were, by sacking Conte, as we were saying, they were saying Conte was the problem. Well, Stellini is Conte's right-hand man. So by keeping him on, I've got no idea what your strategy is. And I mean, he made a complete mess of things yesterday, obviously with Perisic at left-back and stuff. That's something you do in FIFA, not real life. So that was a huge, huge error. That midfield 3 is terrible. But I just don't know where Spurs go from here. I don't think they're going to be able to get a top manager in the summer. If they do, it'll be a miracle. We're even hearing before the end of the season's up, they might remove Stellini and put Ryan Mason in, a more like Tottenham guy, so to speak. But I think top 4's done for them. I think Bulgar's right. That was a huge game. I think that will secure it. Good news for Man U as well. Not in terms of the hunt for 3rd, but in terms of the fact that I think that settles it now. You cannot lose 6-1, I don't think, and get in the top 4 to your rival who you're fighting against it for. So Spurs, it's almost like beyond discussion of how embarrassing they are, really, because just season after season of pain for them, it's quite incredible. You do think what their fans think sometimes, don't you? But yeah, more and more embarrassment, and I don't know where they go from here, manager wise, player wise, team wise, club wise. It's going to be difficult to recover constantly if it keeps going on, which it does.
Yeah, I mean, Liverpool with a match in hand right now are going to catch them with a win.
Okay.
Liverpool will leapfrog them. And then Aston Villa are also right there. Tottenham could slip down to 7th, 8th. Brighton have 3 matches in hand at 49 points. This could be quite a slippery slope for Tottenham here. So here's my Tottenham twisted take, folks. Sell Harry Kane. Sell Heung-min Son. Complete revamp. You're nowhere near the quality of football that you need to have to be competitive in this league, let alone Champions League. Fresh start, clean house, sell everybody, including Harry Kane, including Heung-min Son. You got to do it. Pull the trigger now. Their value is never going to be as high as it is today. It will only go down from here. Yep. Sell, restart.
The problem is that they need to sell those 2, but then they have to also sell like half their basically all their defense.
Do it then. Do it then. But start with Harry and Son. You're not going to have, listen, by selling the midfield and the defense that they have right now, they're not going to be able to fund a new project. That's trash. That's garbage. That's like you get a little bit of chump change from that just to maybe buy one player. But the majority of the funding has to come from selling at least Harry Kane. But Heung-min Son, his contract is up in what, 2025? Sell him, dude. Sell him right now.
Well, the Kane decision has to come this summer. It's either renewal or sale, no? Unless they want to lose him for free next year. So let's see, eh? I'm interested to see this bloke. We've spoken about him before. What does he do? And where does he even go? So Spurs, I don't know. And then they've got to pick the new manager as well. And
I was watching the game, I went out on what Pablo said. And I was thinking, what about Harry Kane going to Newcastle? I could totally see Harry Kane like just banging goal after goal after goal after goal in Newcastle, and
chasing the footsteps of Alan Shearer.
Yeah, something like that, you know. And I think he would be a good player.
Don't laugh at that, Pablo.
I think he would be a good buy for them, like honestly. And Newcastle,
dude, I think that's a good move.
Money. And Newcastle can spend that money.
God,
yeah,
I could totally see that. One.
I could see that. I was watching the game and I was like, I could see that.
BUGA, I could see that, dude. I could definitely see that. I was going to jokingly say, what would it take for Harry Kane to go to Arsenal? But there's obviously no possibility of that with the Spurs connection, of course. But Newcastle actually makes sense.
And they're like a proper club. Like they're playing proper
They can afford it. They're on the brink of doing something great. Harry Kane is staring at a empty trophy cabinet. I don't know, Pablo. Are we talking crazy talk over here?
To be fair, it's another option for him because I think we always talk about the fact that there aren't many options for English clubs for him to join, and we're always thinking, well, where is he going to end up then? So the fact that Newcastle sort of are a new top 6 club could work. I just don't think in his mind he can vouch for leaving Tottenham. I think to leave Tottenham, it's to join like an elite club now. Surely it would be to join like a guaranteed trophy. And if he joins Newcastle, he'd probably argue I have a similar shot at winning trophies than I would at Spurs.
No way. I would argue that he is then. Yeah, I would argue that he has then drank the Kool-Aid, and he is no longer in the reality that we are living in. If he thinks that Tottenham have the same chance that Newcastle do at trophies, I'll say now, Newcastle will lift the EPL title before Tottenham.
Yeah,
Newcastle will lift a Champions League title before Tottenham. Come on, Harry.
Yeah, I think it's between. In my book, there are 3 options for Harry Kane: Newcastle, that I saw yesterday, Manchester United, because they need a striker, and I think United would probably buy him, and Bayern Munich.
Yeah,
that's a good shout. That's a good shout.
Because Bayern Munich, they're going to splash for a striker.
To me, that's the move he could do, but I'm almost certain he's not leaving the Premier League.
Me too.
Yeah.
He wants Shearer's record now. That's pretty clear. He wants Shearer's record even over trophies, right?
Get it in Newcastle.
I can see him renewing at Tottenham. And if they get someone like Luis Enrique as well, then he definitely will.
Mm-hmm. No, right now I heard it's Nagelsmann, the main runner.
I don't think Nagelsmann will join Spurs. I actually don't.
That's what I read.
I think Nagelsmann's got quite a big ego. I think he looks at himself in the mirror and thinks I'm the man.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think he's going to join Tottenham. Luis Enrique, I think, is desperate for a club.
If I'm Nagelsmann, I definitely want to go somewhere that's going to be a success. I don't know if I want to risk my reputation after, like you said, if I've got an ego like that, I took a bit of a hit being shown the door at Bayern. I want to make sure that where I go next is going to be successful, and I don't know if Tottenham's that place for me.
Yeah, I think they would drag themselves down, maybe both of them. Like,
Yeah,
they just won't feed as much.
Speaking of dragging themselves down, how about Arsenal dropping points?
Oh my god!
Again? Guys, I can't believe it. I can't believe I don't want to call it a collapse, but am I far off if I do call it a collapse? 3 draws in a row, 3-3 to Southampton, and now Man City are in the driver's seat going into Wednesday's match. What is going on with Arsenal? BUGA, how are you feeling about
In
this?
my book, City are already on top of Arsenal. When I look at games in hand, I always say, in the best possible scenario, what happened? City are on top of Arsenal. Dude, what the hell, man? I mean, Arsenal are still... They can still win it if they beat City, right? That's the idea. That's the idea of every Arsenal fan has. But it's like, to be in this position after being how many points in front? Maybe 8?
For how long, too?
For how long? And drawing the games they've been drawing, like against Southampton, bottom of the league Southampton, to concede 2 goals in the first 20 minutes. I mean, it's not Spurs like catastrophe, but still. And what I mean is, like, that for me is the biggest result of the weekend, and it came Friday. I was busy. I saw it at night. I opened my phone, 3-3, and I was like, no way, Arsenal did it again. And you know what? I was still thinking that there was a margin. I looked up the table, and no, like, they're in position where it's do or die. And at the end of the day, Arteta, I think, got a little bit too... I don't know if you remember, I was saying they are a little bit too premature, a little bit too gun-ho. In this approach, you just gotta close it. You just gotta get the wins. It doesn't matter how. Just put 5, 6, 7 people behind the ball and defend. Like, I don't care. Just try to get a win. And against Southampton, like, come on. You could see that it's all mentally. It's all mentally. And I was also listening to the commentators. And in South America, I love the commentators because they actually do work. And they were saying how Arteta and inside the coaching staff, they don't have a psychologist or someone who looks at the mental state of the players. And him and his second coach were the ones acting to do the like the coaching,
the psychology,
the psychology,
the
and
counseling.
I'm like, exactly. And it's like, no, you need someone proper for that. Like,
you need someone separate. Yeah,
exactly. This is why you're falling down. Like Ramsdale's pass to who was it? To
Alcaraz.
Oh yeah, to Alcaraz. That is all mental. Because he's a little bit too. He's like anxious, you know. And oh my god, yeah, Arsenal. I don't know. It reminds me of Arsenal of old. It reminds me of Arsenal of like Wenger days.
Listen, if I'm going to be optimistic for a minute, like you said, if Arsenal beats Man City, it puts them back in the driver's seat. And so if you were going to write the story of Arsenal's title-winning season, this does add some drama to the narrative, but it's still in their hands if you look at it that way. If they can beat Man City away from home.
They're not going to beat City.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to beat City.
City are going to win the treble. City are going to win the treble. That's my.
You've been calling that for weeks now, BUGA. You've been shouting for the City treble for weeks now. It could happen.
To be fair, when I looked at the table, I actually thought Arsenal weren't going to be as far clear as they are still after these results. That I know City have got 2 games in hand, right, and I know they've still got Arsenal to play. Yeah, but Arsenal are 5 points clear now, right?
Yes.
Like, I don't know about you guys, but I was, even with the 2 games in hand, after their points, I was expecting it to be a little closer. So look, City have still got to win those 2 games in hand just to go 1 point above Arsenal. And I know that changes because they're playing each other, but if you look at it that way, it's not actually that far. But Arsenal have just been Arsenal. I actually feel sorry for their fans, because that's just, I don't know how I would take that when you've had so much failure and disappointment. They haven't won anything other than an FA Cup for 2 decades. It's just, but I think this is what I always say, where it's like winners win, isn't it?
That
Winners
is
win.
true. Yeah.
And it's just these clubs.
If you ain't first, you're last,
Yeah. They have stuff in clubs have things embedded into them like Real Madrid and Arsenal. I mean, like like you were saying, they're showing all the Arsenal signs of old. Pressure got on. We were doing final season, but it got to the crunch stage and goodbye. We just started bottling it. We just started shipping goals. We just started playing like the Arsenal that bottled top 4 all those years ago, and the Arsenal we've seen for the last decade or so. Like, no, you've been top of the league all season, and this will be an absolute sucker punch to take for the fans. By the way, I think I said it last week. I can't really describe, I think, how detrimental this could be to Arsenal not to win this Premier League, because they had to win it, and I still think they could. But from what we've seen in the last 3 weeks, that is not a title-winning team. Title-winning teams do not do that.
If there's something that's good for Arsenal this time around, is 2 pictures, in my opinion. The first one of Zinchenko like routing the squad together. This is why. And the second one, because this is the first time of all the last 3 draws that Arsenal came back. It's different to get a 2-0 lead and then lose that 2-0 lead. That puts you in a position where you're like, fuck, we're actually like screwing this up. But then when you win, when you're losing 2-0 and then you push it back and, equalize in the last minute of the game and whatnot, that gives you a little bit of a different mentality that you can actually do stuff. And I think that is, at least, we have to see and wait for that Wednesday game. And when I was watching the Arsenal Southampton game at my replay, I was just thinking, when is this City game? When is this City game? And I looked it up, and it's the next game. And I think that is just a little bit too soon. If there was one game in between, if there was Arsenal-Chelsea, for instance, I could say, maybe they can build on this momentum and at least try to change this mentality. But no, it's City right away, and City are going to smash you, and they're going to kill you, and they're going to devour you, and they're going to score like 3 goals, and you're going to be out. I think it's too soon.
Do we think if City win on Wednesday, it's game, set, and match in the title race?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I think so, because they're going to be looking at all the competitions. We say they have too many games. But, dude, if you're at this stage of the season with all those competitions in front of you, you want to eat them all, You want everything. So
they have the depth, they have the quality, and at this point, I think they have the experience. They know what it's like to stumble just before the finish line, which is what Arsenal is going through, that growing pain right now. So yeah, I'm on the BUGA train with this one. I'm going Man City treble. I think Man City win on Wednesday. They continue to do what they need to do in the league, and then they get Champions League. They get FA Cup.
Oh my god!
Who you got on Wednesday, Pablo?
Yeah, I've got City at the Etihad as well. I think it could be 2-0 or 3-0 City as well. A few weeks, was it last week, John, where you said Xhaka red card and then 3-0 City?
Yeah.
It just reeks of that, doesn't it? Don't you think? I mean, it really does. But we got to see. I mean, if Arsenal decide no, if Arsenal decide actually we've been good all season, we're going to play like we have, then it'll be a very good game, and City will struggle. But if we see the Arsenal of late, and I think we probably will, there won't be any Saliba again, right? It'll be Rob Holding at centre back, and I think City should win. If City also are in their best moment of the season, Arsenal are in their worst, so it's just all falling apart. And then we got to see what City do for the rest. And I was saying about the points. If City win on Wednesday, they go 2 points behind Arsenal with 2 games in hand. That is a good margin. Then they can go 4 points clear, can't they? That's strong, very strong.
Yeah,
I think that's a problem of picking too early. I think always in the sport you can pick too early, and that's sort of what happened to Arsenal here at the end of the day, because it's like they picked right from the get-go. 3-4 match they seen, they were already like, wow, they're incredible. They're going to be Premier League champions, but speaking way too early.
Yeah,
well,
you got to be perfect in the league. I think just quickly, even look at Barcelona. Say Barcelona, this is stupid because it's hindsight, but if we'd lost the Clásico, Asensio's offside goal, if we lose to Atletico Madrid, those are 2 games easily losable. Then title race is wide open. So you've just got to do it, and that's what makes you win the league eventually. If you can win those games, and Arsenal are bottling it.
Yeah. I want to compare like Napoli to Arsenal. At one point, I think I made this comparison because they were in very similar points, very similar positions.
Yeah.
But just take a look at this game. Arsenal against Southampton, they cannot get past Southampton. Napoli drop points against Lecce, whatnot, but against Juventus, last minute goal, bang, they're back in the game. Is those little games, they make you champions. They make you win this trophy at the end of the day. And Arsenal, I think, like that pressure of not having won. Well, I don't know. Napoli have it as well, right? But the thing is that Arsenal are like trash. They're just trash now. I'm so sad. Poor Arsenal.
Well, I think you made a good point about Arsenal maybe peaking a little bit too early, but I'll say there's peaking too early, and then there's just not peaking at all, which is what we're seeing over at Chelsea. So let's get our weekly Chelsea update from our Chelsea correspondent, Pablo Wolves Blanco. What's the latest, dude? We're hearing Pochettino coming over to Chelsea. How close is that to being the truth?
You were waiting for that segue.
I was.
Well, I'm a little more calm than I was when I first heard the news. The dust has settled. For me, when Potter was sacked, it was pretty clear Chelsea had two options for the new head coach, right? Luis Enrique or Julian Nagelsmann. Clear as day. Non-negotiable. Chelsea need an experienced, elite coach to come in, revolutionise the group, take them to the heights that can forget about ownership problems, like we've seen at Liverpool with Klopp and whatnot, and get the team back on track from 11th place or wherever we can end this season. Chelsea met Luis Enrique, clearly didn't just bin him off immediately. Bizarre call from Bowley. They then were keen on Nagelsmann, and he was set to be first choice for ages. And then all of a sudden we hear all these names like Vincent Kompany comes up, Pochettino comes up. They were dilly-dallying with it, and eventually Nagelsmann himself actually pulled out of the race. So neither of the two that Chelsea needed. And now Chelsea look like they're about to get Pochettino as head coach. So I think what this tells us is really that Bowley clearly is quite an assistant on a yes man. Anyone with like character or personality who's going to come in and say, no, this is what I do. This is what I want. You listen to me. I'm going to run this team. They don't want that. They want a nice guy who's going to go in there. All the media says he's going to be brilliant. Look at the great work he did before. He's going to thrive at Chelsea, just like they said with Graham Potter. And that's exactly what they're going to say with Pochettino. Look, I've made my thoughts clear on Pochettino before. I think he's a serial loser. I know it's a bit risky saying that because I know Pochettino has got huge love, especially in England. And I remember from Tottenham days.
Here.
Really, yeah. Well, he's just. I mean, I did a few tweets, and I've got a lot of people replying quite angrily to me about Pochettino, and I thought, goodness me, what has this bloke done for you to make build such a cult behind him? And ultimately, I don't care how many progress he's made. He hasn't won much at all, and he didn't even win the league with PSG. I don't know if this sort of guy works at Chelsea. I don't. And maybe, I'm interested to open the debate to it. But I think Chelsea I'm really worried. I backed Bowley for a long time, but I'm not going to lie to you guys. I'm actually worried about the direction Chelsea are going in.
I just had this image of Pochettino sitting across from Bowley being interviewed, and Pochettino's telling him what he's going to do at the club, and Pablo just pops up over his shoulder. He's like, "You didn't even win the club or the league with PSG," and just blows the interview up.
It's true.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think it's a good move.
Okay.
It's just I don't know. Maybe. I don't know. I got nothing. I'm trying to twist this into some sort of silver lining of here's how it'll work. Here's how it's a good idea. Yeah. But
I got 3 points why it's a good idea.
Yeah, I think BUGA.
Oh shit. Okay, I was struggling for one, and BUGA's like, I got 3. Here we go.
All the hipsters on Twitter about BUGA. You're part of
the hipsters.
You're part of that cult, aren't you? Like saying that like Napoli would like win the Champions League and stuff, and like all of that.
BUGA, the hipster. Let's go.
The football hipster.
Yeah, like the guys that think the guys that didn't win anything are good.
I don't know why I like Pochettino as much, but I really do. I said it again, and I'm gonna say it again. That Tottenham team was one of the best teams I've seen play ever. I really do. I really like Pochettino, and I think he could give Chelsea 3 things, or 3 reasons why I think he'll be a good appointment. First of all, I think Pochettino has one way of playing, like 4-2-3-1, one way of playing. He knows exactly what he wants. His right back, left back, wingers tend to do everything. That's the first thing. I think Chelsea right now are in a point where they don't even know what they're playing at. They have absolutely no idea. They have no organization. the players, they go into the game and they don't know which instructions to follow. And I think that's a very big problem when you have in a club, not to have that organization or not to have that, what do you call it, like man management. I think that's a problem. Second of all, is that second point that I just made, man management. I think the players that Chelsea have at the moment, they're not finished products. They're not also youth players. I think they're players that are malleable. You can mold these players into everything you want. And I think that there's enough balance because of all the squad depth that you've bought throughout these windows, that basically he can find out which players fits what he wants the best, and then you can cut it out and then start again. Like, players here in this, what Chelsea has, are gonna fit whatever Pochettino wants to do. I think if you bring Luis Enrique, if you bring somebody else, you need to buy new players to get something done. And I think that is something that Pochettino right now can look at this team and be like, okay, Enzo Fernandez, bang, you're here CDM next to, and then he starts looking maybe at Zakaria, like he's still in the club, he could work there in the position like that. I could see that being something good, useful piece for Pochettino. And then the last thing I feel is that he has been in a position where before his boss, the owner of the club, like Antonio Levy, was such a pain in the ass. And I think that Todd Bowley is going to be more of the same. So if Pochettino wants to take this challenge, he will have to deal with this extra voice in his head. And I think he has proved that at least he has been able to challenge with something like that over his shoulder. And like I said, for me, the most important thing is that he has the players, and all of them you can mold them, all of them, and into something that he wants. And I think that's what Pochettino can bring instantly to the club and be like, this is what we need, this is what we want. The problem is with you, or not you, but like fans of Chelsea that are want a lot of success. Pochettino doesn't have that to prove at all. So it's like, how is that going to work out? I'm not too sure.
Yeah, I hear your point, Stan. I think that'll be everything Bodie's looking at and saying, or if I'm a Chelsea fan, I'm looking for positives. I completely agree with all your points. Like, brilliant at developing players, right? Kind of created like that atmosphere or that era that I think, showed for nothing at the end of Tottenham, but it was successful to an extent in terms of they were one of the best teams, if not the best footballing team in the Premier League for that time. He's resourceful, so he did it with nothing. I don't think that'll be an issue at Chelsea, because I think the opposite will happen. Bodie will actually throw players and money at him. But you're right, deals with owners, so no problems with ownership. I know Pochettino isn't going to have a row with Bowley because he just won't care. Like, he's happy with anything, and he can develop young players and mold them into their own. So I see all of those things and play good football with it. But I would say a lot of the same things about Graham Potter. I would have said an awful lot of the same things about Graham Potter. Resourceful, smart tactically, great man management skills, great football, develops players, can build a culture. What culture did Chelsea build other than one shot on target and losing every game?
But I think that Pochettino has more recognition than
Potter.
If you look at the grand scheme of things, the reason why there's such a massive cult behind him, like, you can have there people recognize Pochettino for what he is, because he wouldn't be linked to Real Madrid or to Bayern Munich at the time. Like, there is people that recognize, and I think in football sometimes it's difficult for us fans to look at that. Like, there are some players, for instance, I don't know what player can be. I'm gonna look up like whatever shit player I find. Like, for instance, I'm trying to make a point, but it doesn't work. Like a Keylor Navas. A Keylor Navas is right now playing as a goalkeeper in Nottingham Forest, but for everyone in that dressing room, he's gonna be like a legend. Because those certain aspects that you look at, it's like you recognize that. We recognize ball. I think the same thing happens for footballers, but in a different status, a different level, right? So I think they're gonna recognize him for what he is, how good a player he can be, and I think the same happens with Pochettino. So at least I feel he will garner one thing, and that is respect, that I feel most of this Chelsea team didn't have for Graham Potter.
Yeah.
Fair points. I'm interested to see how it turns out. I'll say sometimes the managers have more or less influence. One that is, I think, seeing that and seeing those mixed results is Ten Hag over at Man United. Can we talk about their results against Sevilla? A big 3-0 loss in the Europa League. BUGA, were you watching this one?
I told you, boys.
You did.
I told you. I told you about it.
BUGA's posture on this one was just like, told you. What can you expect? Yeah.
No. I'm not gonna say anything. I want to hear from you guys.
My first thought on this when I tuned in was it looked like the fans were on the pitch. Like they did a whiteout. Everybody was wearing white. And listen, I've seen plenty of matches in Sevilla Stadium. I as a Barcelona supporter, I've seen plenty of those fixtures. I have not seen their stadium this rowdy at this level. It looked like a Bundesliga match, is what it looked like. It was an insane environment, and I think Maguire and De Gea might tell you got a little overwhelming.
Yeah, Sevilla are a great club. I'm really happy for them. They're the Europa League kings, but you're right, they can sort of build that atmosphere, and that's one of the stadiums I really want to visit, honestly, and hopefully I do soon, because it just looks incredible. But brilliant club. It's a shame to see how poorly they're doing this season. But I think for United, a big reason why they're doing poorly, and I think we can say the same for Barcelona at times, is I got to say this, is they had some players missing. So they took Lisandro Martinez and Varane out of that team, yeah? And you get the same results. It's a bit like when Barca didn't have Araujo and Koundé, and we had to put PK next to Eric Garcia right against Inter. Christensen was out as well, wasn't he? So what happened? We shipped 3 goals. Like, that happens. And Man U, that happened as well. De Gea has been suspect for a while, though. I think now would be a good time to move De Gea on. I really do. I think they should go for a new goalkeeper. And they probably should go for the bloke they played against yesterday, Robert Sanchez, because he's a top keeper at Brighton. But I think De Gea playing on the back has always been terrible. Doesn't get in the Spain squad anymore. One of the main reasons is that. I think he's got mentality issues as well, though, just collapsed. Maguire, we know, is a B-rate footballer, not ready for the top level. There's no debate with Maguire. He's just a poor player, no? Like, he's very poor.
I don't know. Well, how does he keep getting the start, though? With the captain's armband. Like, I don't know. What is going on?
He's terrible. He's terrible. And they got exposed. So Man U, for, in my opinion, a good progressive season. Now in the FA Cup final as well. Won the Carabao Cup. Will get top 4. Looking so much better, in my opinion, under Ten Hag. Still had a lot of embarrassments this season. Might even still have more. They've got the FA Cup final against City, which I think City will win, although I wouldn't count my chickens on it just yet. But they've had a lot of bad defeats. We have to wait and see what happens with the ownership, because it looked like they were going to get a sale, but I know the Glazers are sort of cocking about with that quite a lot, if you like, and we have to wait and see if that actually goes through or not. So, Man U, a bit of a mixed bag, but I'd say good progress, whilst still having some embarrassments. And I think, like Barcelona, when you still have the guys around who are part of those embarrassments from the past, it's always going to creep back in.
Good shout. That's a good shout. So you mentioned, I think, both the positives and negatives for Man United there, right? They're knocked out of Europa League. That's the low. But they're going to make top 4, potentially top 3, and they'll get in Champions League next year. We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Can we mention? Let's play a little game. Okay.
Okay. What's the name? What's the name of the guy from Saw?
What's his name?
Jigsaw.
Yeah. Okay, Jigsaw. Let's go.
Let's play a little game. Name me one center back if you want to leave that Maguire is better than.
A center back that Maguire is better than.
Better than.
You cannot say like I don't know, like a center back from the Indian league, right?
Can you not?
No. I was gonna give Barca fans some love and say Clement Lenglet, but I don't even believe that's true. I would take
Lenglet is better than Maguire.
I would take Lenglet. I would take Umtiti over Maguire.
Umtiti is solid.
That's an interesting word to describe him, but okay.
Don't you? I feel like we've all been like gaslighted by Umtiti a bit, haven't we? And we still think him as quite good, don't we? He was quite shocking towards the end.
He's a World Cup winning center back.
I remember how Koundé just turned him inside out. Remember?
Yeah. He was never the same.
Name
after the World Cup.
Name one center back.
Yeah, so like a starting center back
like a good,
in Europe who's worse than Maguire.
No, there isn't one. You have to go low. You have to go to like relegation teams, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Koulibaly? What about Koulibaly?
No, Koulibaly's better.
I think I got Pablo. On the hook.
That's close, but I'd rather Koulibaly than Maguire. Yeah, I would.
Yeah,
Maguire. He's so bad. I just think he's poor at football, though, in my opinion. Like,
he just shouldn't play football. Exactly.
No, but like,
Harry Maguire, poor at football.
Like his technique when he's on the ball, I'm like, he looks at something like guys from my school sometimes. Honestly, like it's like, what are you doing? And his positioning as well, and the way he gets turned, it's so horrible to watch. Honestly, like, wow.
Like literally, he doesn't defend, he doesn't pass, he doesn't dribble, he doesn't shoot, he doesn't have any pace. He's just big and occupies space. Like literally, I'm not joking when I'm saying this.
I know you're not. That's why I'm laughing.
A traffic cone could do more job than Harry Maguire does. Like literally. Come on.
Maybe De Gea wouldn't have passed to the traffic cone if he saw two players on it.
Exactly. Like you have such a big target that you want to pass the ball to, right? Makes sense.
Oh my god.
No, De Gea was a big problem as well on Thursday night, though, I have to say.
Yeah, he's actually also pretty. He's good some days, but he's pretty bad.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah. All right, gents. Well, let's dance around Europe here a bit. Let's do some.
Wait. Can I mention quickly one thing?
Yes,
I want to give credit to. I really was shouting for Brighton, hoping that they could beat Man United because they need some recognition for something this season, I believe. And I hope, I'm praying that Brighton can get European football. And for some reason inside of me, I'm like, can they get Champions League football? But
they could. They got.
They could. But
three matches in hand. They could get up to 55 points.
Have you seen the fixtures that they have? It's pretty difficult as well.
Tough schedule.
They have United, they have Arsenal, they have Newcastle, and they got. They got them.
Yeah, sorry, Brighton.
Yep. They do have City.
So,
they have City, Arsenal,
are Liverpool?
Newcastle.
Is it going to be Liverpool or Aston Villa that catches up to Tottenham then?
Maybe both, but I think Liverpool look like they will. Liverpool might and could make like a late streak for top four, could they? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They could.
I want so much United not to make Champions League.
Actually, I'm going to say no. I'm going to say top four is out of hand right now. Newcastle, same matches played, are 9 points up.
Okay.
Man United, a match in hand, are 9 points up. So I'm going to say Champions League football is out for Liverpool.
Yeah.
But they can get 5 or 6.
Okay.
If Brighton win all of their games in hand, they get 58 points.
What does that mean?
That means they're 1 point behind United. And
that's right. I said 55. I can't do math. I need more coffee.
But on what amount of games played though?
32.
On 32, they can get up to 58 points, which puts them 1 point behind Newcastle and United right now.
Yeah, but how many games have Newcastle and United would have played? 32.
Oh no, that's right. Newcastle's on 31 and Man United's on 30. So it'd be a stretch.
No. But Brighton, remember that Brighton has those games as well. You know, like they.
They are
United
playing
faces,
them. Okay.
Brighton faces United and Newcastle. So technically, if I'm the Servi, I'm like, you got to point to those games. Like I'm just gonna watch Brighton from now on to the end of the season. That's what I'm gonna do. Basically.
Okay. All right.
Every single game Brighton plays, I'm gonna be like, I need to watch this game.
Okay. All right. There you go. Buga's dedicated. Okay. This is where he lifts up his sleeve and we see the Brighton tattoo on his shoulder. All right. Well, let's quickly just kind of touch on some of the other European leagues. Napoli, 1 win away from securing the Serie A title, first time in over 30 years. Last time that this happened was back in 1990 with Diego Maradona. Napoli fans, are they going to be excited about this one after being knocked out of Champions League? Is this Serie A title going to be enough to consider this season a success, or are they going to feel a little let down by this?
100%.
Well,
which
successful.
One?
100%. Like the Serie A title is good enough. I think that you have seen the celebrations. I think it really means a lot to them. They haven't won in ages, so I think the Champions League was a little bit of a step too far, but they can take that to the following year. Like at the end of the day, they put their eggs in the basket of the Serie A, and I think they got a little bit since they have such a big margin, it's easy to get demotivated or unmotivated. I don't know. So finally, they're gonna get it recognized, the best team in Italy right now, one of the best teams in the world. So yes.
Yeah. Okay. Well, a league that is not yet wrapped up, Germany.
Wait,
what?
Can we mention?
What? You are slowing down this train, Buga.
I'm so sorry, but look at it. Do you know that Milan and Inter are both outside Champions League in the Serie A?
Milan and Inter.
Do you
I
recall that?
knew
Juventus,
one
because
of them
Juventus got their sanction uplifted.
reduced. That's right. So Juventus are delayed, I should say. So Juventus are now in third, and then you got Roma 4, Milan 5, Inter 6. It's close though. They're all
Yeah, it's
within
close.
5 points of each other.
But I think Lazio are gonna make it. Then Juventus are gonna make it. But then one of Milan and Inter are gonna lose out.
Ooh,
Because I think
that'd be interesting.
one
Well,
of Inter are gonna
maybe one dark
Wins the Champions
horse, yeah, wins Champions League.
maybe.
We'll see.
No.
Pablo says no. All right. Well, Bundesliga then. Dortmund leapfrogging Bayern after a slip up. Just what do we think? Is Dortmund gonna pull this one off? Are they gonna get the first title in some time?
Oh, how's the table looking? I've got a back Tuchel.
Of course you do.
Go on, I'm going to go for Bayern. 5 games left, though, is it right?
More than that, I think.
No, it's
Do
an
they play-
18-team league, so...
Oh, then it is 36. Yeah, so 7 games left?
Oh, is it 36? I thought it was 34.
I already said I'm not doing math this morning, so whatever you say.
Yeah, it's 34, yeah. If there were 2 more
Okay.
teams, they'd play 4 more games, and that'll be a 38-game season, so if there's 18
2,
teams...
3, 4, 5. Yeah, 5 matches left. Okay.
To be fair, it's not a lot, is it?
No.
I will back
We're
Bayern,
on
though.
the final stretch in Bundesliga here.
Who have Bayern got? Who've Dortmund got? So many.
Dortmund Dortmund have Bochum, Wolfsburg, Mönchengladbach, Augsburg, and
Mainz.
then Mainz.
I'm gonna back Dortmund. I do think
Yeah, they could.
I think they're gonna win it. I think it makes Bayern's story a little bit more depressing. And I was gonna say like this could be Bayern could end up the season without winning anything, and that's massive for a club like that. You know,
Outrageous. It'll be gutting
Yeah.
for Tuchel as well. I'm not going to lie. I know it wouldn't all entirely be his fault, but the premise was right. Nagelsmann, we know you're going to win. You're probably going to win the Bundesliga, but we think that's the maximum you're going to do. Please go. We're going to get this serial winner in, and they got Tuchel in to be knocked out of the cup and the Champions League within 2 weeks, and then to lose the league as well. Ouch.
Yeah. Well, here's the good news. If Dortmund do win, they're going to sell all the players that got them there, and then there'll be no competition next year for Bayern Munich, and Tuchel can have a nice, easy season until Dortmund rebuild in a couple of years. No big deal. No problem.
I do think Tuchel with a full season will win it.
Yeah. But oh my god, it means Bayern are gonna be second, so they're gonna be potentially in the group stage next to a certain club.
With you know who?
Oh no,
A
no.
certain team from the Catalan region of Spain.
No, I don't want it.
I don't want Bayern Munich.
Oh my goodness. Barcelona are back to winning ways though. 1-0 victory. I know we're still waiting on Dembele and Christensen to return, but we got Frankie de Jong back in the starting 11, and Pedri Potter got about, what was it, 30 minutes or so on the pitch? A little bit less than, I think.
Yeah.
What was your takeaways from what we saw against Atleti? Thank you. My goodness. Having a brain fart there. I need some more coffee after this. But 1-0 win over Atleti. What were your takeaways?
I'm happy. I'm really happy actually. I think we've been bad in recent weeks, and I think this was our best performance in a while. Could have been better, of course, but I think we should have scored many more goals in that second half. Like the Lewandowski one to Rafinha, for example, is just terrible. And unfortunately, that is a very Lewandowski thing to do. He just has to pass that ball. But I think Barca was so much better. I think that comes against Atleti, who I think were quite good. Like Griezmann in particular caused a lot of issues, as did Morata off the bench. So the Barca were really strong. Another clean sheet. Ter Stegen brilliant. Pedri and De Jong make all the difference. We've said that for weeks, but De Jong just drives that team forward. And Pedri off the bench, he's just a special player. Got to stay fit though. I thought Rafinha had another outrageous game, by the way, on the right wing. He's a proper talent. So I'm really happy for Barca and for Ferran, and I think we just sentenced the title.
I think so too. 11 points clear.
Yeah.
We're getting our strongest players back, and
Yeah.
it was an immediate difference when Pedri stepped on.
Mhm.
Frankie de
Immediate.
Jong does all the subtle things that
Yeah.
you may not notice, but Frankie de Jong allows Barcelona to keep the ball in the attacking third. When we lose it, Frankie's there to win it back right away, and he covers the ground that Boosie can't cover with that lack of pace, sideline to sideline, right? So really enables the rest of the players to do what they need to do. So I was also very happy with this performance.
I think that, like you said, immediate difference. When Pedri comes in, you just know he's such talent. It's like, I don't want him to break again. That challenge from Jimenez on him was criminal.
Oh, dude, I almost
yeah,
my heart was in my throat.
I was gonna do some crazy shit if that happened. If he got injured. I think,
tackle.
like you say, Frankie de Jong. I think the difference now is that Xavi has managed. If you actually look at the way the team plays, is Frankie de Jong playing the holder position and Busquets just playing like an interior mainly most of the time.
Yeah.
And I don't know what's going to happen to Busquets if he renews. That's a discussion for another day. But I'm really happy with Frankie, Pedri. There's such a big impact once they come in. I think, like Pablo said, Rafinha once again demonstrating he's such a crucial player.
Yeah.
And I wanted to give a little bit of a shout out to. I want to mention two things quickly. One, I thought I would never love a player even after they left Barcelona, but Antoine Griezmann is that player. Like I still love that guy. Like he's such a good footballer. That's a player.
He's fun to watch. You gotta appreciate him. Yeah.
Oh my god, if he, like, I'm just so sad the way that it happened for him, because he has always been for me such a favorite of mine. Number 7 on the back of the shirt. I think now, actually, when you take a look at his transition to a number 8 in the back of the shirt, it actually shows a little bit of what he has done as a player.
Yeah.
Like he has transitioned more of as a player now. He's more of like an 8-ish sort of player.
Yeah.
And that is something that you normally wouldn't see, because being more attacking, as you get older, you can run less. But no, it's like Antoine Griezmann can run more for somehow. And then the last thing is Ansu Fati just getting 3 minutes. I don't know how this is going to end. I really don't know, but I want this guy to stay. I really would like him for this, for his career to get back on track. But once again, I say it again, I think he looks like a Bojan Kirkic. And I don't want that.
Bojan Kirkic. Oh my goodness.
I don't want that to happen.
Yeah, I think we have been maybe avoiding that conversation. So we'll put a pin in that. We are inching our way towards the summer transfer window. There's a lot to discuss at Barcelona, both the in and the out. And I'm sure there's going to be some other big rumors going on around Europe and around the footballing globe. So we'll be getting into that in the upcoming weeks on the future episodes of the Engine Room podcast. Again, friends, don't forget to like, subscribe, share, give us that 5-star rating, and keep tuning in every Monday for the podcast with me, Pablo, and BUGA. We appreciate you hanging out. Fellas, anything to wrap us up on?
Yeah, well, how does Cincinnati get on?
Oh, well, we're back to winning ways, of course. Had a little slip up last weekend, but we're back at home this past weekend. A 2-1 win. Goals from Brandon Vasquez, as well as our new Brazilian forward who's replacing Brenner, Sergio Santos, getting the what became a match winner. So big deal for FC Cincinnati, sitting in second place, level on points though. So feeling good, feeling strong.
Good.
Yes, indeed. All right, friends. We appreciate you listening. We will see you next time on the Engine Room podcast.
Peace.
Take care.